Hey everybody, welcome to the stream, and if you're watching this as a recording, welcome as well. So in this stream I'm going to be working on some orcs, painting some, or actually just base coating some orcs. And more specifically what I want to do is I want to test and see the difference between what the orcs will look like once I base coat them, depending on what color I used as the primer. So what I did is I primed a few different orcs, a few different colors. So I'll show you guys here. So I've got I took one guy and I primed him with a gray primer. So this guy here, so he's not just gray from the plastic being gray. I actually primed him a gray color. And then the next one over is primed with green color. So that one's that's from Army Painter. They have a green primer. And then the next one over, I primed him next one over I primed him black, and then I just did a little bit of a spray from the top with white. The next one over is completely white, and then the one in the back is primed black. So I'm just curious to see what they're gonna look like. I'm gonna use the same paint, same base paint for them, and I'm just curious what they're gonna look like after I base coat them, just to see if there's a big difference or if it's almost the same thing. All right, so I'm gonna get started. And for my base coat, I am going to use a color called Wild Flesh. This one right here. Actually, let me switch over. From Citadel. Trying to see if I can find something. And I'll probably start with this one here, the black one. This orc primed with black. So I'm trying to use thinner layers, so I watered down the base coat a little bit. Just want to see what it looks like using this black primer versus the other colors. We just have that little neck area there. I think that's pretty much it for the skin that's exposed. I'm going to end that one there. And let's do this green one next. Still getting my setup, my stuff set up here, so I'm missing a few things that I gotta find, like my wet palette. I'm just using like a paper towel right now, and it's not really working too well because it's soaking up all the paint. But I don't really feel like going and looking for my wet palettes right now. So this is the one that this is an Army Painter primer, green colored one. I'm curious how this will differ. Now my goal for this Ork army is, my painting goal I should say, is just basically to get them like tabletop ready. These are not gonna be, I'm not gonna spend too much time on perfecting the paint job on these guys. I just want to get a whole bunch of them painted, and I want them to look pretty decent, but more than anything I'm just trying to get back into painting, get some more practice and some more experience. So I don't want to spend too much time on small little tiny details. I just want to get a bunch of these orcs done and play around with some different colors and test things like this primer thing, because I heard a bunch of different opinions on what kind of, some people use black primer, some people use a white primer, some people prefer gray. And then just recently, the other day, I was watching a broadcast or a stream on Twitch, and the guy was showing, he does this where he basically, now he uses an airbrush. I didn't use an airbrush on this, but he base coats it black first, and then he hits it from the top with a white color. I think it's called natural highlighting. And then so that's for priming, and then when you do your layers on top, it kind of almost does a lot of pre-shading for you. So I'm going to try that out. I've never done that before. So I'm curious how that's going to look. Hey Jabil, welcome to the stream. No, not really. On the camera, the green looks very similar, but in real life, it's pretty easy to tell the difference between the two greens. I'm not too sure about this green primer, because unless, I guess, if the green color that you want to go with is just that primer color, like my base is a darker green here that I'm using, which I'm not even sure I like this green yet, but I guess if I was gonna make the skin of the Orks this lighter green, the primer, then it kind of makes sense, because the primer saves you from spending all that time painting. But since I'm changing the color of the green, it would really only be a benefit if the green underneath kind of helped the color above it, like the this white flesh that I'm painting on top of the green. If the primer kind of shines through and helps this green to look better, more richer, then I can see the benefit of it. But I don't know. I'm not sure yet. That's why I'm doing this experiment, because I want to see what kind of... I've always, all my miniatures up until now, I've always just base coated them black, and went from there. But now I want to try see the difference between black and white and gray, and even some of these colored ones. Actually, I had some blood angels that hey Chris, welcome to the stream. I've had some blood angels that I base coated red before. Or sorry, not base coated, primed. And same thing, the red was a different shade than what I wanted, so I had to pretty much base coat them anyway. I need to get some new brushes, but this is an Army Painter Wargamer Regiment brush. Man, where did I put my wet palette? This paper towel thing is driving me nuts. I wonder if there's something else I can use. I'll just keep going. It's not, it's a yellow water. It's my pollen burst. It has some vitamins in it, and a little bit of caffeine from green tea. so that I don't fall asleep. Keeps me awake. Okay, so this guy is... this guy looks so weird now because his skin is darker than the rest of the green, which looks weird to me. I might have to paint some of this other stuff black to get an idea. But anyway, so his skin is green. More or less. So we'll see. I'm really curious what that's gonna look like. Let's do the white one next. Yep, green tea, green painting. If you're gonna be painting green skins, you gotta drink something that has green tea in it. It's a rule. It is a rule that you have to follow. Otherwise you get kicked out of the club and you can't play Orks anymore. No, I'm not gonna dip my brush into the wrong glass because the glass with my drink in it is really, really far away. Like I have to reach out all the way here to grab it. I don't keep it like right next to my water dish. Because I have done that before. Dip my brush into my tea, I think it was. Not paying attention, and you just ruin your tea. Well, I guess if I'm painting green, then it would just turn into green tea, right? So maybe it wouldn't be so bad. Man, it's been a while since I've painted, and I'm really liking it. I'm excited that I'm getting back into it. I gotta clean up some of these miniatures because there's a few little spots here where there's plastic that I gotta, some mole lines and stuff like that I gotta clean up, but I'll do it later. Right now I'm just trying to figure out what primer I like the best, because I've got about, oh, I don't even know, maybe 30, 40, maybe even 50 Orks that are already assembled but not primed yet. That's why I'm doing this little experiment, because I want to see what color of primer works best, which one I like the best, and then I can get all those guys base coated. How is the music, guys? Is it is the volume on the music okay? Is it too loud or too quiet? Or is it fine compared to the microphone? I only hear the music through my headphones, so I can't really tell until after. It's good? Cool. I don't know about this green color. It's kind of a... It's a base coat. It's a little bit dark. But I have to find some of my green colors. I went through and found a bunch, but there's a green color that I was Hey Absinthe, welcome to the stream. You don't hear any music, really? Do you mean that you don't hear music playing, or do you mean that the music that you hear you don't consider music? I can turn the music up a bit if it's I just didn't want it to be too loud. You know, turn it up like just a little bit. How's that? Is that better? I can turn it up even more. Cool. So what kind of primer do you guys use? Like, do you use white or black, gray, a colored one? What's your favorite what's your favorite one to use? Oh, okay, so do you do like do you do natural highlights with that? Like, do you kind of do this type of thing where so I primed this guy black first, and then I did a white spray from the top. But you use 3 colors, so you probably do like a white from the top, in the middle be more gray, and at the bottom where the shades are black. Oh, okay. Wow, that's super advanced. I just learned this little thing. I've never done this before. I've always just painted mine black. I didn't even know this technique existed until a few days ago. I learned it from somebody on Twitch. Gray at 45. So you do gray at 40. You do black first, then gray at 45 second, and then the white on top of that. Oh, cool. So the white, you just go straight from the top, as if there was a light bulb straight above the miniature, beaming straight over it, right? Cool. By the way, sorry about last time. I think we were in the middle of a conversation and my internet just crapped out all of a sudden. I think my ISP was doing some kind of maintenance because even their website was had a little message saying some kind of maintenance thing, which like never happens. My internet's like super stable here usually, but of course if I'm gonna do a stream for the first time, Murphy's Law states that the internet will die. Do move brush around to catch like back of heel weapons sticking out, that sort of thing, because those still catch the light. Yeah, I was trying to come back, but I thought maybe the cats knocked over my hub or something, or the wire got unplugged, or... But then I found that it was my actual internet to the whole house was down, and I went on my cell phone trying to go to my ISP to see what was going on, and then even their website said that they're doing maintenance, so I'm like, oh, they're probably doing something. Oh well. Yep. It very well could have been the cat chewing on a wire. Actually, my cats are pretty good. They don't chew on wires. Well, that doesn't mean that they haven't tried, but my wife and I retrained them fairly well not to chew on wires. They actually, my cats actually really don't like the they really don't like the sound of an aerosol can, like that hissing sound. So I have like a little one of these things. This stuff here, dust off, you know, a little compressed air canister, and if I ever catch them doing something across the room that they shouldn't be doing, I just spray it a little tiny bit, not at them, but just so it makes that noise, and they instantly stop because it freaks them out for some reason. It's probably part of their DNA. They think it's like a snake attacking them or something. Sriracha sauce and flour on your cords so the cats don't chew on them, you mean? Is that what you mean by that? I wonder if I have this paint watered down enough. I feel like I do, but I've never tried this technique before with the dual priming. Feels like I think I got it watered down enough. Well, I know there's like a what is it called? Bitter apple or something that you can use for dogs, which is like a spray, and I guess it's really bitter and prevents them from chewing on something. I wonder if the same thing works on cats. I've never actually had to use it really. Do you just have one cat, Absinthe? That's cool. We've got two. And they're sisters. We got them at the same time. From the same litter. They're sisters, but they couldn't be any more different. Like, they look different, they act different. It's really weird. Well, I think I got this guy done for now. Alright, so what do I have left? So I've got 4 out of 5 done. So this is the gray primer. Gray primer is weird for me. Stormy, is that your cat's name? Yeah, we've got 2 cats and 2 dogs. Ooh, this gray paint's really nice. Interesting. It's interesting how these different primers have different, like, smoothness levels to them. It seems like some of them are, like, really smooth. They leave, like, a smooth finish, and some of them are kind of almost, like, bumpy. Almost like a really fine grit sandpaper. I don't know if maybe I just didn't shake it enough, or if it's just a brand of different brands have different qualities to them. I have an airbrush that I haven't really learned how to use yet, and I want to start using that to maybe start priming my models too. But I haven't gotten any primer paints. Distance, eh? Okay, I'll have to pay attention to that more. I've never had a problem with them, the miniatures not looking good after I paint them with the primers that I've used. But I've always used one primer, the black one, usually from Games Workshop or Citadel, whatever. And so I've never had any, like, anything to compare. But now that I bought a bunch of different ones to test, it's like now that I've primed these models, it's easier to see that there is in fact a difference. Oh, okay, that's cool. It was I primed them today, and it was warm today, but it was very humid. But you're right, I might have been a little bit too far away, and that makes sense that the little tiny particles could be drying before they reach the model. I did notice that with the Citadel primer, which is the black one, the black minis, or the black mini that I primed, the paint comes out more like a more of like a finer mist compared to the Army Painter one. So maybe that's why that one kind of came out like that, because I would imagine if it's a finer mist, the paint can dry faster while it's traveling through the air. So maybe I was a little bit too far away. Yeah, I think I'm gonna start doing that too. Figure out how to use my airbrush, and I gotta order some primer colors. I have a bunch of colors from these guys here. Minotaur. I have a whole bunch of colors from them. Pretty much every color they make, but I don't think I got any primers with that. I don't even know if they make primer. I gotta look through my stuff. What brand of primer do you use for your airbrush? Wow, 90 bucks, eh? That's a sweet deal. That's an awesome deal. I actually started using those colors just for painting, even not with an airbrush, but with my brush, because some of the colors are just so, I like them. And so I'm like, hey, I wonder if you can use these for brush painting, and they work perfectly fine. They're a little bit, obviously, more watered down than like something like this, but I water down my paints when I paint anyways, usually, so. Stynal Res. Is that the brand of primer? I gotta order some of that. Some primers. So far, as far as the actual painting process, I think I'm liking this gray primer the best. But I haven't compared the colors yet. I'll do that shortly here after I finish this guy. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get another compressor for my airbrush, because the one I got is it works well, but it's really loud, and I'm most likely going to be painting late at night, and which means if I use the loud compressor, it'll wake up my wife. Muscle memory for airbrushes? Is that somebody who taught you in person, or did you watch like a YouTube video or something, or Twitch stream? YouTube, cool. Oh, that's cool. So you just do lines and then like at the end put a blob with little circles. All right, so let's take a look. Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. So without the blobs at the end. Okay, so you have to basically, I'm assuming you have to be moving the airbrush before you press the trigger, and then at the end you have to let go of the trigger while still moving the airbrush. Is that right? And then once your arms fall off, practice even more, right? Okay, let's take a look at these. So this is the one with the black, and this is the one with the green. It's kind of hard to see on the camera the difference. I'm mainly trying to see if there's a difference between the color of the green, the coverage. Oh, I totally forgot to paint this guy's face. I'll do that in a second, but I don't really see too much of a difference. I mean, and maybe it's because I'm using this base color and it covers really well. Let's see, what about the white? So the one thing with the white is I noticed right away that because I'm watering down my base just a little bit, there's a little bit of white showing through. So I'm trying to wonder if where it's showing through, if that would be normally a highlighted part or a shaded part. So that's the white one. Properly thinning the paint is the next lesson. Yeah, I can see that. Do you use a paint thinner, or do you just water, like a thinner specifically made for airbrushes? The flow aid, yeah. So you use like a flow aid, right? And this, I can't remember. Did we get a flow aid with that miniature set? So this is the one that I did black with white. This is the one where I did the black and then I did a little bit of white from above. Liquitex in 120 ratio with water. So that's the flow aid you use? This one looks pretty good, because I can see some of the parts, like on top of his forehead, the whiter color, right there, the whiter color. Not sure if you can see it on the camera, but right above his eyebrows, there's a little bit of a highlight. The same thing on his muscles here. You can see kind of the yeah, it's not just from the light. It's a bit of a highlight on the tops. So where the paint was white. This is actually kind of cool. I like this. Oh, Michaels has it. Sweet. Liquitex. Yeah. Okay, so to be honest, I do not like the white. Unless I was painting some kind of really light colored miniature, I'd probably stay away from the white. Personally, I do not like it. The green is okay. It's okay, but I kind of don't really see the point of the green primer unless it was like a much bigger model that had a lot more green to it. But I mean, okay, so let's say I'm basing this guy, or sorry, priming him green, so that I would paint, you know, I guess the idea would be to paint less if you're using that green color. But I mean, if you look at this orc, for example, I forgot to paint his face, but the majority, like all this is going to be, you know, like a brownish color or whatever, or black, whatever color you want for your leather. the weapon's not going to be green. So really it's just these parts here. So it doesn't really add too much to... It's not like it saves you that much time. And I wouldn't really use this green for the skin color anyway, so... Don't know if I like this green. It's okay, but I don't really see the point behind it. But if I was painting like something much bigger and it needed to cover, but even then it would only be useful if the green color that the primer is the color that I would want the skin anyway. So I'm gonna put these two. I'm gonna say these are probably my two least favorites. So then we've got the black primer. The black one's fine. It's the green covered pretty well over top of it, and yeah, the black one's fine. Yeah, I guess so for like a Space Marine, if it was, you know, the majority of it. Yeah, because these orcs, you know, it's just their arms really and their face that's the primary color. But like a, you know, like a Space Marine, like a Blood Angel or something, if you and you're using an airbrush, you paint it with a color that you're gonna base with anyways. Psychoed Amber, welcome to the stream. Thanks for the follow. How do you guys like my dancing Borat? Okay, so this gray primer is probably, I would have to say, my favorite. It's either between the gray or this one. So the gray one, this is just a gray primer. And I can't remember if it's from Army Painter or if it's a Citadel one. I think it's from Army Painter. It covered really well, and it was really easy to paint over. And there's no parts where the gray kind of, I mean, I missed a few. Well, no, actually that's his little band. So, but you don't get the gray kind of shining through like on the white. Like on the white, you can kind of see how there are parts that are, I mean, I have to, you know, obviously put another layer over top because it's the white's showing, but with the gray, even if you're not perfect with your base coat, it doesn't, you don't see it as much as you do compared to the white. So I like the gray, and this is the one that I tried with that technique where I painted it black and then, or primed it black and then I did the white from above. This one's good too. You know what I might try doing? Well, at least until I get my airbrush stuff figured out. I might actually try priming them gray as my base. And then just do a little bit of white from above. with my spray can primers. Yeah, I'm testing different primers to see which ones I like using. For me, it just depends on which one does the best job. I don't mind paying a little bit extra. I mean, I know the Army Painter ones are less expensive than the GW ones. And I would imagine that an airbrush would be even cheaper. But the only thing I don't want is I don't want to buy a cheap primer and then prime, you know, 50 orcs with it and then find out that, you know, all the miniatures look like crap because the primer, you know, because I saved like $3 on the primer or something. So I like the gray. Just gonna finish painting this guy's face here. This is the first time I'm using this brush as well. I haven't used this Army Painter brush before. Seems alright. I need to get some better brushes though. So I think the color that I want to paint my for the layer for the skin is called War Boss Green or something. And I thought I had that color, but I don't think I do. They have all the new names. I used I'm used to the old names for all the Citadel paints. Now that they switched all the names, I'm so confused. I haven't learned all the new. Here's some of my old orcs. This is my probably one of my first miniatures that I painted. Well, the first set I got Space Marines and orcs, and I used the orcs for practice. And I can't remember what color of green this is that I painted on his skin. But it doesn't look like this green. This green is a little bit darker. Yeah, that sounds familiar. Goblin green. They probably still have the thing here somewhere. Where did they put it? Yeah, there's goblin green, and then there was this one, which is snot green. This is the old one. It's probably all... Oh, actually, it's not dried out. Oh, maybe this is it. Let's take a look at this color. Yeah, the old colors were easier to remember, I think. At least for me. Like snot green and goblin green. Ooh, I really like this color. I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna paint this guy with this snot green and see what the skin looks like. Still getting used to painting with a camera in front of me. Oh yeah, I'm really liking this color. I really like bright colors. And I think orcs should have nice and bright colors. And this snot green. I wonder what the new name for snot green is. I gotta look it up. I hope they have the same color but just under a different name now. $5 billion coats of bone white on all the chaos horns. Yeah, white is fun. I can't remember if goblin green was darker or lighter than this snot green. I'm actually liking this combination of what is this stuff? The Wild Flesh for the base, and then the Snot Green over top. Let's close this lid before I try that. Yeah, I'm definitely liking that combination. Man, I really hope that they still have Snot Green. Well, meaning, I know it's going to be called a different name now, but... Oh man, I totally forgot to paint this guy's arm here, or hand. I'll do that in a sec. We'll come back. Where's the... Let me try this one. Airbrush the horns, you mean? What kind of chaos were you painting? Like just Chaos Marines? Nice. How many miniatures is that? I'm not familiar with that list. I have a I don't remember which one it was. I think it's Dark Vengeance, the that set that came with some Chaos Space Marines that I've started, but I haven't painted them yet. $290 Chaos Minis. Holy smokes. Yeah, that's a lot of painting. How many points is that? It's got to be like... What is that, like 5,000 points or something? $8,000 points. Sweet. Nice. Yeah, I got a small Necron army started too. Not painted. But that's why I started doing these streams. Or this stream, I should say. Because I want to start painting again and get all the minis that I've built painted up. And then when I go to the store, I won't feel so guilty, and then I can buy more. Because like if you buy a bunch and you haven't even built them, let alone painted them, then when you go to the store and you're gonna go buy something new, it's like, I don't know if I want to buy anything new because I haven't even built or painted the ones that I already have, that I already bought. So but that's a nice sizable army there. 8,000 and another 7,000 Necrons. Sweet. Siege Abiel, I think you need to go to the store and get some more Space Marines tomorrow. I think your Ultramarine army needs to be at least 5,000 points. You're probably at what? Maybe 1,000 points, Jabil? By now? Yeah, I know what you mean. It takes a while to build a 40k army that you can play. I did something similar with War Machine, like way back, maybe what, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. We were my brother and I, we were building our Warhammer armies, and it was, you know, we just kept buying miniatures and painting a little bit, buy more, paint a little bit, but we never really actually had an army built that we could play. And then we went to the store one time, and the store owner was like, "Oh, have you guys heard of War Machine?" And we're like, "Nope, what's that?" And he showed us that you can basically get a starter set with like 3 or 4 miniatures, take them home, paint them up in about an hour, you know, build them at least, you know, build them up in about an hour, and then even if you don't, you know, get them fully painted, you can start playing. So we actually ended up playing a game without it taking like 2 years to get to that point. So that's the cool thing with skirmish type games, is that you can get in there and you can start playing pretty quick. And yeah, Infinity is the same way. I haven't actually played Infinity yet, but I have a couple of models that I've built, and I want to get them painted, and I want to start playing too. The only thing with Infinity, and I could be wrong because I haven't played, but I've been starting to read through the rule books, is that with Infinity, I think there's a bigger learning curve as far as the rules, how to actually play the game, compared to War Machine. But I don't know. I could be wrong. I found War Machine like really easy to learn. At least the basics. Yeah, it's like with Warhammer 40k, the rules are pretty decent. I don't think they're too hard to learn, but it's building the army that's the, you know, that people get stalled on for sometimes for years, because they don't have, you know, it takes a while to get the thing built. And then with Infinity, you can build an army pretty quickly, but then for me, I got stuck on the rules. Just reading through it, I was like, what? How does this work? Because there's just so much to it. There's so many different rules and different scenarios, and how all the different things kind of work together. So I think Infinity, the challenge it has, the challenge I think Infinity has for new players like myself is that you get stuck on learning the basics. But yeah, I guess we can look at the I just recently got the Operation Ice Storm set, so I think that one might have the simplified rules in it. And I think Chris, the set that you got has simplified rules. I don't know if Chris, if you're still online, but I think the set that you got, the US Ariadna set that you got, that came with some simplified rules as well, right? Oh, cool. Thanks for the link there. Yeah, I actually have the rule book for Infinity, the new one that just came out. I've been reading through it a little bit. Most of it seems pretty straightforward, but there's just so much of it. And it's a very there's a lot of interaction between the terrain as well. It seems like you have to really understand how to use the terrain to your advantage in the game. It's not just about the minis, but also cover and all that stuff, like line of sight, staying away from. Valor Steel, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the stream. You've activated the Dancing Borat. Yeah, I might actually design some terrain for Infinity as my next project. I do I run a company where I design and produce laser cut terrain. Just recently started it. My first big project was a terrain set for Malifaux. And I did a Kickstarter for it and just working through the production and getting that completed. So once that's done, I might go back to designing, and that's kind of another reason why I want to get learn how to play Infinity, so that once I understand how the terrain fits in with the game, then I'll be able to design. I'll do a much better job of designing terrain that will be functional in the game, not just look pretty. But there's so much cool terrain already out there for Infinity. Yep. Yeah, I'm really. That's the other thing. It's the same thing with whatchamacallit, War Machine. It's usually played on a 4x4 table, and I would imagine that probably the majority of the games that I'm gonna play are gonna be at home or at a friend's house, where space is somewhat limited. So playing on 4x4 tables is going to be much easier than a big, 4x6 table. Thanks, Valor. Yeah, I'm gonna Google this in a second. I really want to find out if they kept Snot Green. Like, I know the name will be different, but I'm really hoping that they didn't get rid of this color when they switched to the new paint colors, because I really like this. It looks, to me, it looks almost like it's nuclear, like it's like a glowing, radioactive, glowing green. Like, if you, let's see if I can, I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera that well, but oh nice, a portable 4x4 table. Where is that other color? See, if you look at these two, I wonder if you can see that. See this green here? It's a similar, but it looks so dull, whereas this one, it's almost like it's glowing. It's a little bit different on the camera, but mood green. Sweet. I wonder if I have mood green. But yeah, see, I really like the well, Snot Green or Mood Green, whatever the new name is. I really like how it glows. To me, that just looks like an orc should look, because I would imagine them. To me, an orc is like their skin is like a glowing, radioactive type of thing for some reason, and if you cut them, they'll bleed like an even brighter fluorescent blood. Yep, I'm definitely, if I don't have any, I'm definitely gonna get a bunch of mood green because I have a ton of orcs to paint. Oh, look at this. Mood green, right in front of me. Why did I think that's brighter though? Hold on a second. Let's take a look here. Yeah, these are a little bit different. This is, the mood green's a bit brighter. So I think it might be one shade darker than this one. You know what's funny is I actually have a conversion chart that I made on my blog. That converts to old colors. Warpstone Glow. Cool. Okay, so it's called Warpstone Glow. I don't think I have that one here. Niblet Green. No, I don't think I have that one. I'm gonna have to put that one on my list. Warpstone Glow. Definitely gonna pick up a bunch of that. It's alright, Valor, no big deal. I just, so Mood Green, I would imagine, is probably the, like one shade lighter, because it's got the same kind of glow to it, but it's just a little bit brighter. Yeah, it's also got that glowing, so I can use this to kind of highlight with or something. Let's take a look. Oh, cool. We got the same name. Oh, nice. Wow, that blue looks awesome. I have that same model. Mine's painted green though. Let me see if I can find it. Do I have it here? Or is it like... Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? One sec, I think I have it here. Your dad's name is Paul? There's a lot of Pauls going around. Alright, so check this out. It's the same miniature. Except yours is blue. Let me load up yours here. Nice. I really like the blue on yours, like the especially the way that the veins pop out. Like you really highlighted them, and you got the darks, you got the shadows on the bicep a lot deeper than mine. And then you got the highlights on the veins. That looks really cool. I might have to do that with mine a bit more. Hit it with a little bit more of a shade in those recesses. It's an awesome model though, I love this guy. Scorpion green, I might have it. Let me look. What is this? Oh, look what I found. Goblin green. Yeah, Goblin green is it's okay, but I think it's a little bit well, this one's completely, well, it's a little bit dried out. I could probably bring it back to life, but it's not as the Goblin green doesn't, it's a little bit more pastel-y, I guess. Like it's not as glow. It doesn't have that much. Like, see, this one is more, the snot green is more, it's got more of a glow to it. A little hard to see on the camera, but yeah, your Ork looks great. I really like the blue. That models was really fun to paint. Ice Draken, do I like boobs? On my Orks? I don't know. Probably not. So I'm gonna keep going here with this one. Let's see. So by the time I put the second, layer on, like by the time I did the Wah Flesh base and then the you know, the snot green or whatever it's called, there's not really much difference in the priming that I can see. Oh, okay. Okay. So usually when you're airbrushing, then those techniques shine through. I would imagine probably on bigger models too, right? Like if you're painting something, something bigger, like a dreadnought or a vehicle or something. Or even for Infinity, some of the bigger models. Yeah, I'm mostly just trying to figure out the like, because a lot of people have different opinions on what you know, which primer they use, and some of them have made it seem like, you know, that it's a huge massive difference using one over the other. So I was kind of curious. And yeah, I mean, for brushing the paints, doesn't seem to be making a big difference. But for airbrushing, I would imagine that you could probably see it more. I'm gonna do this this one that I base coated with, or sorry, that I primed black. Let's see what this one's gonna look like. Alright, cool. I'll check that out a little bit later. Ace Draken. What are you talking about? Ruined Valor Steel. What's that? Snot Green, I like you. Alright, Absinthe, thanks for joining, and thanks for the tips. I'm going to check out some of that stuff you shared with us, the airbrush stuff and those paintbrushes. Hope to see you tuning in next time. Talking about my butt, all the girls love. Yeah, I'm a night owl too, but I guess you're a few hours ahead of me. Cool, have a good night. We'll see you next time. See you later. did this guy's arm that I forgot.
Make the ground shake.
Hello, Clay May Play. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for the follow. How do you like my dancing Borat? Alright, so I think I'm gonna do a wash on these, and I will use, I'm gonna do this Beal Tan green shade for that. Yeah, Borat's awesome, eh? I love the little dance that they do. So I did, for the base color, I did WoW Flash, and then it's an old snot green that I had. I did that as a layer. And now I'm gonna do a shade with the Beal Tan green. Ooh, bit too much. I remember the first time I discovered shades like this, I was like, whoa, That makes the miniature look so much better. Or I guess they used to be called washes. Now the thing says shade. I don't know whether it's called a shade or a wash, whatever. Oh man, I forgot to paint that part. Go back in there with the snot green. Put this guy over here to dry. I love how on models like these orcs, where there's a lot of depth to the muscles, these washes or shades, whatever they're called, they really make that pop. It's kind of like easy mode for painting, which I like. So the reason each one of these orcs is a different color or primed a different color is I wanted to test a few different primers that I had to see what the difference is if I use like a black primer or a white primer or a combination of black and white or gray. And this one I painted with a green primer from Army Painter. And the main thing I wanted to figure out is if the color that you prime with makes a big difference for how the colors look like afterwards. Like once you paint the base colors, if it looks different if you prime, let's say, with black or white. Because I've got about, I don't know, maybe 30 or 40 orcs that I have to prime. I just finished building them, and I figured, well, let me do a test to see which color I like the best for a primer before I prime those 30 or 40 orcs. So that's what I'm doing with these guys, it's just testing. So clay may play. Sorry, clay may play. What What armies do you collect? Or play? I'm just going back over this back part here because I forgot to paint that with the snot green. Hello, Real Shadow. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing tonight? Pretty nocturnal, eh? I know how that goes. I'm just going over this guy's belly with Whack Flash base again, because I totally missed that. Sometimes on these orcs, if you're not paying attention, you're painting a lot of them, you kind of miss certain spots where you think it's the you don't realize it's their skin, you think it's the leather vest that they're wearing. You kind of have to follow the lines to see. The Lone Rooster, welcome to the stream. Yeah, you kind of have to have steady hands, but not. It's actually not as hard as it seems. Caliban Green, Dark Angels? I would guess Dark Angels. Either that or Orks. Dark Angels, eh? Yeah, I just got my nephew into playing, or at least starting to collect some Warhammer miniatures, and we got the what is it called? Dark Vengeance? Yeah, Dark Vengeance set. We kind of split it, so he got the Dark Angels from there, and then I took the Chaos Marines that are in there. I haven't painted them yet, but he has started painting his Dark Angels, and I remember that color from... I remember him using a lot of that green. Caliban Green. Still getting used to the painting with the camera in front of me. Oh nice, so he took the Chaos and you took the Dark Angels? Those starter sets are awesome. Like the value you get for, and also for like beginners, if you're just getting started. Like my nephew, he had never built any miniatures or painted them or anything like that, and the minis in those are easier to put together because they don't have, you know, you don't have this typical Space Marine thing where you get like 50 different options per Space Marine and you got to figure out what kind of gun to put on each one. With the starter sets like Dark Vengeance, it's like you just build it. There's really only like one way to build it, unless you want to do modifications, which of course you can, but if you're just getting started, it's easier to kind of just build them, and they kind of take a little bit of the decision-making process away. to make it easier for beginners, so I think they're kind of cool. Tyranids or Necrons. I got a small Necron army started too. I'm not sure about Tyranids. There's something really cool about that whole hive aspect of it, and just the sheer volume of miniatures, which makes the Tyranids kind of cool. But I don't know, they remind me of those creatures from Stormship Troopers. They're like sharp edge arms and legs and little space alien spider creature things running around. Although I saw an army somebody painted of Tyranids, just this massive army, and they painted them like a shiny black color with yellow as well. So they almost looked like hornets or wasps. So just like stripes of yellow and black, and they use some sort of like glossy thing to make them look shiny. And it's just, when you look at this army, it looks so evil. It just looks like a big hive of wasps that are gonna come and attack you. So I thought that was really cool. If I ever build a Tyranid army, I think I'm gonna paint them like that, because they just look mean. And I think that would look really cool on the table if you're playing against somebody and you pull out this army that looks like this big huge swarm of wasps. It'll instill fear in your opponent. I kind of picked that's kind of why I went with Orks too, because you get a little bit more. I love painting models, so with the Orks you do get a lot of models to paint. You get a lot more practice compared to like Space Marines. But I just like the Orks. I think they look a little bit nicer than the Tyranids. But everyone has their preference. That's one thing I realized about, or noticed about Warhammer 40k, is that everyone kind of picks an army, and for whatever reason, there's certain armies that just speak to people, and it's like one person will love that army, another person will hate it. Even Space Marines, like you, on the so many different chapters of Space Marines, and it's fascinating that everyone seems to pick a different one. And like all my friends that play Space Marines, like we all pick different ones. Constantly buffering, eh? I hope that's not some kind of setting issue on my side. I'm kind of new to streaming, so I haven't really tweaked my settings yet. I don't know if I maybe need to change my bit rates and stuff like that to make my stream more friendly towards cell phone users. There might be something to that. I'll have to put that on my notes to research. If you go to other streams, do they buffer too, or is it just mine that's doing that for you? I mean on your cell phone. Okay, cool. I just wasn't sure because this is one of my, this is like my second stream, so I haven't, it's one thing I haven't really researched is figuring out all the bit rates and the optimal settings to use. But if it's just your phone, then that's cool. I still have to do a wash on this guy. Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of work to come up with your own chapter and figure out different color schemes and stuff. I probably want to do that one day eventually, but for now I'll just stick with, I have a Blood Angels army started for Space Marines. I'll just stick with that chapter. Do a little bit more of a wash on this one. And this one, just wait for it to dry there. And do a wash on it. So all the different primers I used, from the green to black to gray to white to this one I did black and white. I don't really see too much of a difference for brushwork. I don't really see too much of a difference on what color or what kind of primer I used. Maybe a little bit, but not a huge diff. Let me see between this one and the black one. Very similar. The end result is almost identical. I don't know if the camera is really focusing on it properly, but just the skin I'm talking about, the end result is almost the same. For tabletop level of painting, I don't really see too much of a difference. So I'll probably go with whatever is the easiest thing to do, which will be, the only one I didn't like was the white one, so I'll probably go with either black or this gray primer. The gray primer was really easy to paint over, so I might stick with this gray one. And then also with the gray, if I'm painting a darker color or if I'm painting a lighter color, it won't affect the color as much. Your favorite roster is lots of Terminators, a couple Librarians, and a Land Raider. Nice. Yeah, I haven't gotten to the point of actually building out a full army and list and playing the game. I've mostly just started building a few different armies and started painting some of them. I was kind of away from the hobby for a while, but now I'm back, and I really wanted to get back into painting, and that's why I started to do these streams, because I think it's kind of a a fun way to do painting. Especially since I mostly paint at night, so it gets a little bit quiet and boring if it's just me. But it's kind of cool to be on a stream and have other people to talk to. So how big is your army now? Like, how many points are your Dark Angels? Just doing a wash on this guy. Oh, nice. 3,000 points. Sweet. The challenge I have is starting way too many armies. Because as a painter, it's like I start an army and then as I'm building and painting that one, Games Workshop comes out with something else, something new that I don't have yet, and then I see it and I'm like, oh, that looks so cool, I really want to paint that. And then I end up buying a starter set of Necrons, and then I start building those and painting those, and then they come up with something else that I like. But I'm trying to kick that habit, and that's why I'm building out these orcs. So I kind of I think I want to build up my primary army. I want to build out as orcs, and then I also have my blood angels. So those will be my two main armies for 40k. I'll try to stick to buying miniatures for those two. I do also have the chaos that came with the dark vengeance, but I probably won't get to those until I finish all the orcs. Hey Grendler, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I'm trying out the stream thing, and check this out. I want to show you something. So I tried out that little thing you taught me with the I didn't have the airbrush going, but I primed it black first, and then I did I sprayed it with a little bit of white from the top to kind of get that natural shading effect that you were talking about. So I'm basically, on this stream, I'm testing a few different priming options. Yeah, the pre-shadow. So what I've done is I did This one is black with the white on top. I primed it with black and white on top. This one I primed it with a gray primer. This one I did straight white for the primers. This one I did straight black. And this one I did with a green Army Painter primer that I had. I wanted to see what the difference is, like at the end of the day, once you get to the point where you actually put the layers of paint on top. I wanted to see, is there a huge, massive difference? Is it a subtle difference? And I think for brushwork, I mean for an airbrush, I think it'll probably be more noticeable having the highlights. But for brushwork, because the paint is so opaque, I don't think it really makes too much of a difference. But what I do like about this technique is that, sorry, about this one is the doing that little spray of white. It kind of shows you, where the highlights should be for when you're painting anyways. I mean, I can see that the shoulders are highlighted here. The top of his head was highlighted. And then even here on the back, you can kind of see the belt and whatever. Whereas underneath, the underneath I can see this is more of a shadow part, darker. So then, and even here on the top of the pants, it kind of, it's almost like a, it's almost like a guide. So what I'm thinking, what I might try to do, because I'm mainly just painting these for like tabletop quality, just so I can get my army finished. So I'm not, like, it's not like I'm painting these for commission, and I'm not going to spend like, you know, 15 hours on one mini type of thing. And I'm not using an airbrush. So what I'm thinking I might do is, I really like this gray primer, just the way that it covered and the way that the paint went on. So what I might do is I might start with the gray primer, prime the miniature gray, and then I'll spray it with a little bit of white, just so I can have the same effect, almost like, you know, paint by numbers. It just shows you where the highlights are. And I'll be able to see the white on the gray as well. Either that, or I'll do the black and the, just like I did this one, the black and the white. But I don't know, there's something about this gray primer, and I think it's from Army Painter too. There's something about this gray primer that I like. It just it covered really well, and the paint went on really smooth with the brush. So I think I might try, because I have about like 30 or 40 orcs that I gotta paint, and they're all built. They're just waiting to be primed. So I decided to, you know, figure out, okay, which primer am I going to use to prime them, and that's basically what I did this for. So I you know, I did the black and the white and the green, and I think I'm going to go with gray, spray with a little bit of white from the top, and then use that as my primer, and then go from there. Oh yeah, I got tons of orcs, and I haven't even finished building all of them. Here, look at this. This is another bunch of sprues that actually I'll do it in the face cam here. Oh, thanks for the host, Grendler. So check this out. Face cam. Look at this. More orc stuff I gotta build. This is from another set that I got. This one I split with my brother. What is it called? Stormclaw. This set was called Stormclaw. It's a set that GW had a while back, and our local gaming store had it on sale, or it was just sitting there kind of collecting dust, and they were selling it. So I picked it up because it has a whole bunch of orcs, and it had some space wolves. And my brother collects space wolves, so we split the set. Thanks for the follow, Real Shadow. Welcome to the stream. mean, you've been here for a while, but I mean, welcome as a follower. So this is the other one. So there's a bunch of kilocans on here. I don't even know what's on here. There's a bunch of kilocans and some other orks that I gotta build. And then behind me there in the hello Voltar UA. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for the follow. And I've got I'm not sure if you can see those shelves behind me there. There's a bunch of orks there. The middle shelf from the top shelf on the middle one, sorry, the middle shelf top, and then the middle and the bottom, that's all orc stuff. The ones in the top are green skins for Age of Sigmar, and then the ones at the bottom, and I think there's some 40k orcs up there as well. The middle is all 40k orcs, and then the bottom is orcs as well. And then that shelf over there, I have a bunch more orc stuff. So tons of orcs. I've mainly just been focusing on getting them built. And then next is time to start painting them. I haven't painted any of the bikers. Are they hard to paint or something, or? Just gotta make sure that I did missed anything here. I have, I think, 3 bikers. It's hard to remember now. I haven't painted any yet. It's funny, the first set I got, or one of the first sets I got in Warhammer 40k was a starter set that came with Orks and Space Marines, and I bought it for the Space Marines, not the Orks. I just wanted to get I just wanted to get 2 armies in case I had a friend over or something and we wanted to play. But I was going for the Space Marines. But then when I got the set, I decided to start painting the Orks first, because I wanted to get some practice painting. I was really new. And so I'm like, oh well, I'll just start painting the Orks first, get some practice with those, and then I'll get, you know, I'll be a better painter by the time I start painting the Space Marines, and then the Space Marines will look nicer. And there was a lot more Orks obviously as well in the set. And the funny thing is, as I started painting all the Orks, I just started falling in love with them because they're just so cool. Like once I started painting, I'm like, man, these are so much fun to paint. I love like all the biceps and all the like the muscle. It's just more fun to paint than Space Marines for me. And like every orc is unique. They have like different weapons, like everything's like scrapped together from scrap pieces and stuff like that. Every vest is different. With Space Marines, I mean Space Marines are cool too, but they're just like, they all look so similar. And the Orks, I love their faces too. Like they got the teeth, and when you bring some detail into the teeth, and like this guy's got an earring. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. He's got an earring that's like a bullet. It looks like a bullet. I mean, that's just so cool. Oh, that's cool. So you're gonna paint the regular ones just like some kind of plain color scheme. Or do you mean like literally a vanilla color, like a creamy vanilla ice cream type color, or do you mean vanilla as in like just plain? Cool. Yeah, you have with your why did I do that? I just refreshed my window and lost the chat. For Dark Angels, they have like it's like they have green, and then they also have this like almost like a bone white or like a creamy color for some of their, I don't know if it's the Terminators or some of them have capes or something. I can't remember now, but they have that scheme, that color scheme going, right? I think it looks really good, but I don't know how hard that would be to paint that color. I always found like white colors or flesh tone, or I find them kind of hard to paint. Hello, Taten Fire. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for the follow. Thanks, Taten Fire. Yeah, it's like kind of like a white, bone white color. I think it looks kind of cool, but it's just, I looked at it and I'm like, that might be kind of hard to paint. Meaning, it might be hard to make them look good. I'm just slapping that wash on there. Trying to get the these shadows really dark here. Doing it a few different layers. It always looks dark, and then when the wash dries, it kind of, I find it's not as dark, so sometimes you have to go through and do a few layers. I definitely like this combination of basing it with the Wa Flesh and then Snot Green, or whatever the new one is called, and then Biotan Green for the wash or shade. This is going to be my skin color for my Orks. Combination of those three. So this guy is pretty much done. Throw him over here. This guy. Oh man, it's already after 3 here. I'm gonna have to pack things up shortly. Gonna get these guys washed first. Finish this washing here. So I think what I might do is I think tomorrow I'm gonna go ahead and probably prime the rest of my Orks. And based on what I've seen so far with these ones, I think I'm gonna go with the gray primer, either gray or black, but I'm probably gonna go with the gray, and then I'll do the little highlight from the top with the white. I keep forgetting that I keep forgetting to keep the miniature in frame on the camera. Sergeant Geronimo. Yeah, that's the one thing about 40K is that if you're brand new to the game and you get a starter set and there's so many different weapons, so many different options, so many things you can put on there, and if you don't know all the rules and you don't know, the best choices for weapons and stuff, it's kind of hard to figure that out all at once. Whereas with games like Infinity or War Machine, the miniatures pretty much come, like, you can only really assemble them one way. There's usually no different options. There's a few. Some of the minis have like, maybe 1 or 2 options or something, but not like Warhammer 40K. And I mean, that's a good thing too, for once you do learn the game, then you can kind of build an army that's really customized to your liking with different weapons and everything. But for new people, it's always hard to figure all that stuff out before you get started. I love this guy's got an earring here too. If you guys can see it right there. Alright, final wash on this guy. An orc army painted with human flesh. That would be interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that. I think that would look so bizarre. They would just look like really buff people, I guess. Oh, there's that one. Look at this little bug landing on my orc. This guy out of the way here. Not really easy to see, is it? So those are the 5 that I did a base coat on today. And the main thing I wanted to figure out is what which primer I'm going to use to prime the rest of my guys. And I think I figured out the answer. I think I'm going to go with the gray. And I think I'm going to do a little bit of a white spray. Call them dorks, eh? So I think it's going to be a toss-up between these two for my priming. I'll either go with the gray or black. Not sure yet. But I don't know if you can see here on the camera, but the black does have a little bit more of a dusty feel to it. The gray primer, I think it's from Army Painter, I'm not sure. It for some reason it was easier to paint over. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the gray primer, and then I'll just do the little white effect that I did with this one where I sprayed the white paint from the top. And that'll help me to pick out the shadow, or pick out the highlights on the model while I'm painting it. I still gotta clean up a bunch of these little mold lines. I gotta find a, like that little one right there. That's gonna bug me. Gonna cut that off. But as far as the actual the green on the skin, there's virtually no difference between the white that I can tell between the white primer, sorry, between the gray primer and the black primer, or really the other, any of the other ones. Like even the white one, they look pretty, the skin color looks pretty much identical. So I think for brush work, I don't think it matters that much which one you use, at least for this, you know, for tabletop quality painting. If you're doing commissions and if you're making, you know, if it's a miniature you're going to spend a lot of time on, then yeah, maybe a different primer would make a huge difference. But I'm going to stick with gray and a little bit of white. That will be what I'm going to do. Dark Angels. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the follows. I'm going to call it a night here for today. I'm going to see if maybe I can get on tomorrow, and if I can get my other orcs primed, maybe I'll do a little bit of painting tomorrow as well. I don't know if I'll just finish off these guys, maybe start working on their vests and stuff, or if I'll just stick with getting the rest of my boys painted with the green paint. And I definitely have to pick up more of this stuff. Well, the new name for it, because I don't think I'm going to have enough. Well, maybe I will. But either way, I want to get some more, because I really like this color. Traders. For when the Horus Heresy set came out a while back, a few months back, I picked it up to build a Iron Warriors army, but I haven't even assembled them yet. But that one will be that'll be another one I'll be painting at some point in the future. These ones? Where do you get the old paints? Besides, like, a store that has really old stock. Can you, like, still order them online somewhere? I mean, I would imagine there's still quite a few stores that have... I mean, these things last for a long time. I would imagine there's still a bunch of stores that have old inventory, if that's what you mean. Oh really? So it's not let's see. So it's not a Games Workshop or Citadel color thing. Oh, no way. Look at that, there's all the colors. Scorpion green. I would imagine Scorpion green is this one, right? Because they don't have Snot green, but they do have Scorpion green. Oh, I totally didn't know that. Might have to order some of these and try them out. But I mean, if where are these guys located? They have Canadian pricing. Are they in Canada here? I mean, if Games Workshop or if Citadel still makes the same color, but just yeah, if they have the same color but just under a different name, I don't mind picking it up at my local gaming store. Oh, cool! That's an awesome chart. Scorpion green, Goblin green. It's weird, I don't see the Snot green on here though. Let's see, maybe I clicked on the wrong one. Maybe it's here. Oh, there it is, Snot green. 71. Bogey green, Emerald, Sick green, Snot green. Huh. Cool, I'll definitely check that out. Yeah, I'll look into that. Coat to arms. Brands. Yeah, these guys have Canadian pricing, which leads me to believe they might be a Canadian company. But I don't really see. Email us. I don't see where there's any info about them. Contact us. Oh, they're in Australia. It's weird that it's showing me Canadian prices. Maybe it's because it detected that I'm from Canada. Cool. Well, I appreciate that, Titanfire. I'll definitely check that out. Check out those different paints. I'm gonna call it a night here, guys. And once again, thanks for tuning in, and I will hopefully see you guys in a future future broadcast. I'll see if maybe I can get on here tomorrow. Hopefully I can. And see if I can make some more progress on my orcs here. Alright. Have a good night, guys. Take care.